Hi, my friends, Sam here. I want to take a moment and talk about creativity, something that Trevor Zorby shared with me over 25 years ago when I had the opportunity to see him at a class in London. One of the concepts he talked about being a creative stylist. Anybody can be creative, and anyone can be more creative than they are now. He talked about how each of us possess inborn creative abilities that can be reached, developed, and strengthened, just like our physical abilities. You see, there are common misconceptions and blocks about creative styling that prevent many of us from being more creative. He was talking about how being creative does not always mean being artistic. I thought that was pretty interesting. There are many ways that one's creativity can be expressed through this industry. Think about it: salon management, product sales, advertising, and promotional work. And what I've been involved recently, the researching and development of tools and products, coloring, perming techniques, or the cutting and dressing of hair itself. You see, he made me really understand that recognizing and removing emotional and cultural blocks is a giant step towards developing greater creative skills. Emotional blocks, you're wondering what I mean. He talked about how fear is the common emotional block. The fear of appearing silly, making mistakes, or the fear of failure. To become more creative requires a positive outlook. You want to be more creative stylist? Take the positive outlook, not a negative, judgmental one. Mistakes are okay if you learn from them. If you don't learn from the mistake, it's not okay. One of the things Trevor talked about was ego, self-satisfaction. Falling in love with one of your ideas can stop you from experimenting with other new designs and concepts, being in that rut. And in this industry, that's important. Get yourself out of the rut. Try things in a different way. And I'm always trying to give that to you in our DVDs. So you see, self-confidence is essential to creativity, but don't stop looking for new or better ideas. That's going to give you that sense of enthusiasm. Then he finally talked about cultural blocks. This one was a little bit confusing to me. Cultural blocks are caused by attitudes in society and among our peers that inhibit creativity. I'm sure you've heard this one. My husband likes my hair long. I say, get a new husband. The attitudes that block us from exploring the creativity possibilities are constantly telling us what is right and what is wrong. Imagine that. What is possible and what isn't. Kids are probably the most creative people until they go to school. Then they're told, color between the lines, stop on red, yield on yellow, go on green. You see, the industry is where it is today because we've broken the rules to get where we are. These blocks are so much a part of our education and upbringing that we're blind as to how they can be barriers towards developing greater skills. We are constantly encouraged in society to be logical and discouraged from being irrational. You know what, my friends? I'm okay if you laugh at me because I'm comfortable within myself and I really believe that what I'm doing is right and it's for you. While alternative methods of thinking are not encouraged in our society, they can be useful tools for achieving greater creativity. To help break the cultural blocks, keep in mind that logic can solve problems, but creativity often requires a leap of the imagination. Creative ideas don't often make any sense, and an illogical idea may not be a bad idea after all. So becoming aware of the blocks to your creativity is a first step towards removing them. Awareness of itself may be all that's necessary to free your thinking. So to be a more creative stylist, you must be able to communicate your ideas to your client and correctly along with their options and all of the possible combinations. We talk a lot about that in our DVDs, The Aspire Tour. So to become a more creative stylist, you have to experimenting. And I love experimenting and breaking the rules. Experimenting sometimes means having the courage to break a few of those rules. Before you can become creative and break the rules, you have to have a strong foundation and understanding of the basic cutting principles. Fuel for Design, Fuel for Finishing by Chris Barron are great DVDs to allow you to have a strong foundation in the principles. So it's easy, my friends. First learn and understand the rules. Then experiment and break a few of them. Remember, the person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. But the person who walks alone is likely to find himself or herself in places that no one has ever been before. And so it is with creativity. Remember, just cut the darn thing and learn from it.